All right, let's talk about approved document B. If you're in the business of designing, building, or even just checking buildings in England, you absolutely need to know this document. It's basically the Bible for fire safety. So today we're going to demystify it for you. So here's the game plan. We'll start with what this rulebook even is, then we'll get into its two main parts, B1 and B2. After that, we'll hit the 5 big principles, see how that stuff actually looks in a real building, and wrap up with what you really need to remember.
Okay, first things first. What exactly are we talking about here?
I mean, this is the big question, right? How do you actually make a building safe from fire? The building regulations tell us what we need to do, but they don't always tell us how. That's where this document comes in. And that how is approved document B. Honestly, the best way to think about it is as the official instruction manual for fire safety. It's all about making sure that if the worst happens, people have a real fighting chance to get out safely. I mean, its whole reason for being is to protect lives. Simple as that.
Okay, so what's really important to know right off the bat is that this isn't just one huge monolithic document. No, it's cleverly split into 2 volumes. And figuring out which one you need for your project, that's step 1, and it's a big one.
And the split is actually pretty logical. You got volume 1, which covers dwellings, basically anywhere people sleep. And then you got volume 2, which covers, well, everything else. And this makes so much sense, right? Because the risks in your house are totally different from the risks in a massive office block or a hospital. So let's break that down. Volume 1, which you'll hear called B1, is for your regular houses, apartments, student accommodation, that kind of thing. Volume 2, or B2, is for all the other places you go, offices, shops, factories, hospitals, even cinemas and stadiums. If you don't sleep there, it's probably B2.
All right, let's get into the real meat of it. At its core, approved document B is built on 5 fundamental principles. These are the pillars of fire safety design. And they're just called B1, B2, B3, B4, and B5. Super simple. But together, they create this complete safety net covering everything from the first warning of a fire all the way to making sure the fire service can get in and do their job. So let's take them one by one. So, B1. This one is all about people. How do we warn them there's a fire, and how do we get them out? We're talking fire alarms, smoke detectors, and the actual physical escape routes, the corridors, the stairs, everything that leads to a place of safety. And check this out. This is a perfect example of B1 in action. It's just common sense, really. The more people you have on a floor, the more ways out they need. You can see right here, if you have up to 60 people, one exit might be okay. But once you hit 61, you need at least 2. Why? Because you can't risk one blocked door trapping hundreds of people. It's a simple rule, but man, it's a lifesaver. Okay, on to B2. This one's about what's on the inside, the linings of your walls and ceilings. You know how quickly a fire can spread, right? It just races across surfaces. Well, B2 is all about slowing that down, making sure the materials we use don't act like fuel for the fire. It's all about stopping a small spark from turning into an inferno. Then we have B3, and this one goes even deeper. We're talking about the bones of the building now, its structure. It's got 2 massive jobs. First, keep the building standing long enough for everyone to get out. No premature collapses. Second, and this is huge, is to stop the fire from sneaking around inside the walls and floors. And that leads us to this really key idea called compartmentation. So what is compartmentation? Imagine your building is made up of a bunch of sealed fireproof boxes. That's the idea. By using special fire-resisting walls, floors, and doors, you basically trap the fire in the box where it started. This containment is absolutely critical. It buys everyone precious, precious time. Then we have B4 and B5. Think of B4 as looking outwards. It's all about stopping fire from spreading on the outside of the building, like climbing up the facade or jumping to the building next door. And B5 is about looking inwards, but from the fire service's perspective. It's about making sure firefighters can actually get to the building and have what they need to fight the fire effectively. Okay, so that's the theory, the 5 big principles, but what does this actually look like in the real world? How does it go from a rule on a page to a physical thing you can see and touch? Well, it's everywhere you look once you know what you're looking for. That B1 principle about escape, that's why we have those green running man signs and fire-protected stairwells. B3, about structure and compartmentation, that's your heavy fire door that swings shut on its own. And B5, for the fire service, that dictates exactly where things like firefighting lifts and those special water connections have to go. Here's a great, super specific example. That 18 meters. What's that about? Well, in tall buildings, there's often a pipe system called a dry fire main that runs up the building.
Firefighters hook their engine up to an inlet at the bottom. The rule says that inlet can't be more than 18 meters from where the fire engine can park. It sounds like a tiny detail, but that one number completely changes how you design the roads and access around a building. It's that practical. And here's another thing. Fire resistance isn't just a vague idea. We measure it in minutes. We're literally asking, how long can this floor or this steel beam hold up in a fire before it fails? 30 minutes? 60? 90? And as you can see from this table, the taller and riskier the building, the more minutes of resistance you need. A small office might only need 30 minutes, but a taller residential building, that jumps way up.
All right, we've covered a lot of ground, so let's boil it all down. What are the absolute must-knows from all this?
Okay, key takeaways. Number 1, approved document B is the essential guide. You gotta know it. Number 2, it's split into 2 parts. Volume 1 for where you live, Volume 2 for everywhere else. Know which one you need. 3, everything, and I mean everything, is based on those 5 principles, B1 through B5. They dictate how a building is designed for fire safety. And finally, and this is super important, this guide is just that, a guide, a starting point. For any actual project, you have to go to the source, the full current document, and please talk to a qualified professional. Don't guess.
And that brings me to one last point. You know the rules now, but just following the rules doesn't automatically make a building truly safe. Approved document B, that's the baseline. It's the minimum you have to do to be compliant. But real safety, that comes from going beyond the book. It comes from smart design, from using quality materials, from excellent construction, and this is the bit people forget, from managing and maintaining that building properly for its entire life. The rules are where you start, but they are definitely not where the journey to true safety ends.